Hey everyone, welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today into something pretty interesting.
Yeah.
TL Education.
Interesting company.
They're a huge name in after-school tutoring in China, for K through 12.
Mm-hmm.
And they just had this crazy successful quarter.
Yeah, really impressive.
62% revenue growth.
I know, it's wild.
It's mind-blowing, especially considering all the regulations they've been dealing with over there.
Yeah, the regulatory landscape has been really tough.
So our source for this is an article from the Motley Fool.
Okay.
And get this, it was written by their Jester AI.
Oh, how?
An AI
That's a
that analyzes financial reports.
That's cool.
So yeah, we're going to explore how TAL Education is defying the odds and what it all means for the future of learning.
Sounds fascinating. I'm ready to dive in.
Okay, so let's unpack this revenue jump a little bit.
Sure.
62.4% year over year
Wow.
to $606.4 million.
Yeah, that's a huge number.
Way more than analysts predicted.
Yeah, much higher than expected.
And their earnings per share also crushed it.
Definitely outperformed there.
But before we get too deep into the numbers,
Okay.
can you give us some context on these non-GAAP earnings the article keeps mentioning?
Right.
I'm sure some of our listeners might be like, what is that?
Yeah, good point. Non-GAAP earnings can be a bit confusing.
Yeah.
Basically, they give a clearer picture of the company's core profitability by excluding certain costs that aren't directly related to their main operations.
So they're adjusting for unusual expenses.
Exactly. It's common practice, especially when a company's going through a period of significant change.
Like TAL Education is right now.
Precisely.
So even with these adjusted figures, they're still blowing past expectations.
Oh, absolutely. Exceeding by a huge margin.
So it's not just like smoke and mirrors or anything.
No, they're genuinely performing well.
Even when you factor out the noise.
Right.
This kind of reminds me of other industries that have faced massive disruption.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Like the music industry when streaming came along.
Yeah. Oh.
The companies that were slow to adapt.
They struggled for sure.
Yeah, they didn't do so well.
Makes sense.
But the ones that embraced the change,
they
found ways to thrive.
Absolutely.
Seems like TL Education might be doing something similar here.
I think that's a great comparison.
Right.
They're not just weathering the storm.
No.
They're actively innovating and finding new avenues for growth, like their expansion into online platforms.
Yeah, like gzb.com.
Exactly. What do you think about that move?
Well, from a business perspective,
Okay.
it seems smart. Reach a wider audience.
For sure.
Especially with all the restrictions on physical tutoring centers in China.
Right.
But I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Could this shift to online learning have any unintended consequences?
That's a really important question.
Does it risk widening the gap between students who have access to technology and those who don't?
That's a concern that educators and policymakers are grappling with globally.
Yeah.
TL Education's online expansion definitely raises questions about equity and access.
Right.
On one hand, it provides opportunities for students in remote areas.
Okay.
Or those who might not have access to traditional tutoring.
Makes sense.
But on the other hand,
Yeah.
it could potentially exacerbate existing inequalities.
Right.
If there isn't a concerted effort to bridge the digital divide.
So it's not a simple black and white situation.
Exactly.
There are potential benefits and drawbacks.
Absolutely.
This kind of reminds me of the debate around online education during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lifeline for many students,
For sure.
but it also highlighted the disparities in access to technology.
Right, and reliable internet.
Yeah, exactly. So it seems like we need to be really mindful of these issues as online learning becomes more common.
I completely agree. A thoughtful and inclusive approach is essential.
To make sure technology enhances educational opportunities for all students.
Yes, not just a select few.
Okay, so TL Education is making waves with their online expansion, but they're not stopping there.
Right.
The article also highlights their investments in technology and innovation,
Interesting.
especially AI-powered learning tools.
Oh, wow.
They even quote TAL CFO Alex Peng saying,
Okay.
"Our AI learning devices remained one of our faster-growing business lines and received encouraging user feedback and market recognition."
That's a powerful statement.
I know, right?
It seems like we're on the verge of a major shift in education.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
The potential of AI to personalize the learning experience is huge.
Yeah.
These tools can analyze students' strengths, weaknesses, learning styles, even their emotional state,
Wow.
and then tailor the curriculum and pace of learning in real time.
That's amazing.
This level of personalized attention was previously only available to those who could afford private tutors.
Right.
but AI has the potential to make it accessible to everyone.
So imagine a future where every student has a personalized learning path,
Yeah.
guided by an AI tutor that adapts to their individual needs.
It sounds like science fiction.
I know, right? But it's becoming reality.
It really is.
What does this mean for teachers, though?
That's a big question.
Does this spell the end of traditional classrooms as we know them?
That's what a lot of people are wondering.
Yeah.
While AI will definitely change the role of teachers,
Okay.
I believe it will ultimately enhance their impact rather than replacing them.
So instead of fearing AI,
Right.
teachers can see it as a powerful tool.
Exactly. A tool that can help them create more engaging and effective learning experiences.
So it's a shift in mindset
Mm-hmm.
from seeing technology as a threat to embracing it as an ally.
I like that.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
There's still so much to unpack when it comes to TAL Education's success
For sure.
and what it tells us about the future of learning.
Lots to discuss.
We've touched on their impressive financial performance,
Mm-hmm.
their move into online learning,
Right.
and their investments in AI-powered tools.
Yeah.
But there's another piece of the puzzle worth exploring.
Oh, what's that?
Their strategic shift toward prepaid educational services.
Interesting. Tell me more.
This is evident in the jump in deferred revenue we see in their financial report.
Okay.
It's a fascinating trend.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
That speaks to the changing dynamics of the education market.
For sure.
And that's exactly where we'll pick up when we come back.
Sounds good.
We'll delve into the implications of this shift toward subscription models,
Okay.
the potential benefits and risks,
Mm-hmm.
and what it reveals about the evolving relationship between education providers and consumers.
Can't wait.
Don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back. So before the break, we were talking about that shift toward prepaid educational services for TAL Education.
Yeah, the jump in deferred revenue was pretty huge.
Definitely caught my eye.
From like $428.3 million to a massive $825.6 million.
Yeah, it signals a move toward a subscription model, which is really interesting.
To be honest, I don't really get why that's such a big deal.
Oh, okay. Can you break it down for me? Sure, yeah. So it's significant for a couple reasons.
Okay.
First, it gives TL Education more stability, financially, and predictability instead of just relying on one-time purchases or short-term enrollments.
Right.
They're building a base of subscribers who are committed for the long term.
So they have that steady stream of income coming in.
Exactly. Recurring revenue allows for better planning and long-term investments.
So it's kind of like the difference between
Yeah.
owning a rental property versus flipping houses.
Exactly. That's a great analogy.
You get that consistent income
Right. Exactly.
with the rental property.
And the second reason it's so significant is because of the impact it has on customer loyalty
Okay.
and engagement.
So when people are invested in a service,
Mm-hmm.
they're more likely to stick around and actually use it.
Exactly. And even recommend it to others.
Like that gym membership you finally commit to.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Once you're paying that monthly fee, you're way more motivated to actually go.
Right. You want to get your money's worth.
Yeah, exactly. And when it comes to education, that consistent engagement
Yeah.
can make a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely crucial for a student's progress.
Okay, so we've got financial stability,
Mm.
increased engagement.
Yeah.
Any other advantages?
Well, it also ties into their strategy of using technology and personalized learning.
Okay.
A subscription model lets them gather more data
Whoa.
on individual student performance and preferences.
So they can use that data to improve their AI tools.
Exactly. Make them even more effective and personalized over time.
So it's like a positive feedback loop.
Yes,
The
exactly.
more students use the platform,
Right.
the more data they collect,
Mm-hmm.
which leads to improvements in the AI.
And that makes the platform even more appealing.
It's a pretty clever strategy.
It is.
But are there any downsides to this model?
That's a great question. It's always important to look at both sides.
Yeah.
One potential risk is that it could create a perception of exclusivity.
Okay.
If access to good education is tied to subscription fees, it could unintentionally widen the gap between students from different socioeconomic backgrounds.
That's a good point.
We talked earlier about online learning and inequality.
Right.
This subscription model could make those concerns worse.
If it's not done carefully.
Absolutely. TAL Education and other companies using this model need to be mindful of these issues.
So they need to find a balance
Yes.
between the benefits of a subscription model
Right.
and ensuring everyone has access.
Exactly.
This whole conversation about TAL education
Yeah.
has really made me think about the future of education in general.
It is a fascinating time to be thinking about these issues.
There are so many advancements in educational technology, shifting demographics,
That's fair.
evolving expectations from students and parents.
What do you think are the most significant trends?
Well, we talked about AI,
Right.
personalized learning, online and subscription-based models.
Yeah.
But I'm also interested in the growing emphasis on skills like critical thinking,
Okay.
creativity, and problem solving.
Those are becoming so valuable
I know, right?
in a world that's constantly
It's
changing.
a traditional model of education.
The one focused on memorization and standardized tests.
Yeah, it seems less and less relevant.
I agree. The jobs of the future will require a different set of skills.
So we need to adapt.
Absolutely.
It's not just about like putting textbooks online or anything.
Right.
It's about rethinking what and how we teach.
That's where it gets really exciting.
Yeah, and maybe a little daunting.
How do we prepare students for a future that we can't even predict?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
I think part of the solution is fostering a love of learning
Okay.
and a willingness to adapt.
Yeah, being open to new things.
We need to give students the tools and mindsets to navigate a world that's constantly changing.
I love that lifelong love of learning.
Right. It's not about cramming information. It's about cultivating curiosity
Yeah.
and a passion for exploring new ideas.
And with access to so much information online, the opportunities for lifelong learning are greater than ever.
Technology can be a powerful tool for that.
Absolutely. But it's just a tool.
Right?
The real magic happens when we combine it with human ingenuity
And creativity.
and a deep understanding of how people learn.
Thinking back on my own education,
Yeah,
I spent so much time bored in classrooms.
I hear that.
What if we could create learning experiences that were truly engaging?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
What if every student had personalized learning experiences?
Tailored to their interests and goals.
That'd be incredible.
Learning as an adventure
I love it.
instead of a chore.
But let's bring it back to TAL education for a second.
Okay?
We've talked about their success, their strategies,
Yeah,
and what it all means.
right.
But I think we're missing one piece,
What's that?
the human element.
Oh, that's a good point.
We focused on the numbers, the technology,
Yeah.
the strategies.
For sure.
But at the heart of it all,
Are the people...
the teachers, the students, the families,
Absolutely.
even with all this talk about AI and online learning, TL education seems to understand the importance of human connection.
I agree they haven't forgotten about that.
The article mentions their focus on personalized attention.
Even online.
Yeah, they're not just throwing students into a digital void.
Right. They're creating systems that encourage interaction.
Yeah, from teachers and peers.
Learning is not just about acquiring knowledge and skills.
Yeah.
It's also about building relationships,
Mm-hmm.
developing social-emotional intelligence,
Yeah,
cultivating a sense of belonging.
and those are things that technology can't really provide.
Exactly. It's a balancing act.
We need to use technology to make learning better,
Mm-hmm.
but not lose sight of the human side of things.
Absolutely.
So that brings us to another big question.
Okay.
What role will teachers play in all of this?
Yeah. Are they going to be replaced by robots?
Or is there a more hopeful future for the teaching profession?
That's a question we'll explore more when we come back.
We'll delve into the future of teaching,
Yeah.
the evolving role of educators, and the skills that will be most valuable in the classrooms of tomorrow. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're back and ready to tackle that big question, what does the future hold for teachers?
Right.
It's easy to think AI is just going to take over everything,
Yeah, the robots are coming for our jobs, right?
but I have a feeling it's not that simple.
I agree those doomsday scenarios are a bit overblown.
Okay, good.
Technology will definitely change teaching, for sure.
Yeah?
But I don't think it'll make teachers obsolete.
Okay, that's reassuring.
Actually, I think their role could become even more important.
Really?
Yeah, think about it.
Like-
If AI can personalize lessons, grade assignments, and even provide feedback, what's left for human teachers?
Right, good point.
Well, think about what AI can't do.
Okay.
Empathy, creativity, inspiration, that human connection, the ability to really connect with students.
Okay.
Those are the qualities that make a truly great teacher. Yeah.
And those are the areas where human educators will always be essential.
So it's not just about teaching facts and figures anymore.
Exactly. It's about developing the whole child,
Okay.
helping them
Yeah.
build those social and emotional skills that AI just can't replicate.
Those are so important. They really are. So teachers become more like mentors,
Yeah, like guides.
helping students navigate a world that's constantly changing.
Right, preparing them for the challenges and opportunities of the future.
Yeah, okay.
They'll need to foster those critical thinking skills, collaboration, communication.
Those are the skills that will really matter.
Absolutely, the skills that employers are looking for.
It's like teaching students how to learn
I love that.
with so much information available.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
It's not about memorizing everything anymore. It's
Right.
about being able to adapt and learn new things constantly.
Exactly. Lifelong learning is key.
So teachers will help students develop those metacognitive skills,
Being able to reflect on their own learning process.
identifying their strengths and weaknesses, and finding new information independently.
It's like giving them a map and a compass
I love that analogy.
instead of just telling them where to go.
It's about empowering them to explore on their own.
Okay, so we're talking about a pretty big shift for teachers here.
It is a significant shift.
What kind of support will they need to make this happen?
Right? That's a crucial question.
How do we make sure they have the training and the resources and the time to really embrace these new roles?
Well, I think it requires a change in how we value and support educators as a society.
Okay.
We need to provide ongoing professional development opportunities,
Okay.
access to the latest technology, and the
Yeah.
flexibility to try new things in their classroom.
Yeah. To innovate and experiment.
Exactly. And most importantly,
Yeah.
we need to create a culture that respects and celebrates teachers.
It's a calling.
It really is a vital profession that shapes the future.
This whole conversation has been really eye-opening.
It has been fascinating.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm feeling much more optimistic about the future of education.
Me too. There are challenges, but also so much potential.
We're at a turning point.
Yeah, this is a chance to build a better education system.
One that's more equitable, engaging, and empowering for everyone.
I agree. That's what we should be aiming for.
An education that prepares students for life, not just for jobs.
Right. For the world they want to create.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into TAL Education and the future of learning, we want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
What role will you play in shaping this new era of education?
It's a question for all of us.
Whether you're a student, a teacher,
Or a parent.
or just someone who loves to learn.
We all have a part to play in making education accessible and engaging for everyone.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
And keep exploring.